What's up, guys? So, I am pet sitting, and because I'm pet sitting, I have access to a house. Even still, the van is still parked on the street. The house, I can't, drive it into the driveway for multiple reasons. It's just, there's not enough space, because she doesn't have a car, and so, she doesn't use her driveway, and so it's not prepared for me to back a whole minivan into the driveway. So the car is parked on the side of the street, near the house where I'm pet sitting, and it has been fully cleaned out. As you can see, there's no furniture in here. My art is still on the back wall, and some of the ceiling decorations are still in, but all the actual stuff I use to live here on a daily basis has been removed so that I can do a proper build out of the van, and that includes the floor. So guys, this is super weird. Usually my whole house is behind me and everything is out of here. I'm gonna be ripping up this flooring, but it's vacant. My bed's gone, and it's hard to believe my whole life is in here. But as you can see, right there is the entrance point that I always use, and it's kind of disgusting. So I'm happy to rip this up and really just gut this thing out. Everything has been pulled out of here as far as my personal belongings, and it's so weird to have this cavernous space. And I'm just hoping to make it look even awesomer by the time I'm done. This is one of the disadvantages to a minivan. You can pull stuff out of it. All these little plastic coverings and stuff, a lot of them will just pull right off, but they're sort of made to be a passenger van, and so let me reset the camera here. There are little ways that it's not exactly perfect. This floor is actually curved. It has a dip on it, which I didn't even realize when the carpet was on it before I pulled the old carpet up, that there's actually a slight tilt to it. So when I do the legs for my bed, I'm going to have to sort of compensate for that. So I'm just trying to prep sort of a template for the base plate that I want to build in the back. And the best thing you can do when you're trying to fit weird curved surfaces is to make a template, because that way you're not wasting wood, you're just wasting cardboard. So making a template out of cardboard, it just allows you to waste something that costs little to no money and get a shape of something weird, and you can do all kind of weird things with it. So under here for lift space, I'm basically using two containers that I use for trash cans. That's my trash can and that's my recycling can. Both of them are empty while I'm staying in house, but they got me up far enough that I could figure out what it would be like to build a plate that goes here. Now the weird thing is, ignoring the fact that I'm going to sweep this out tomorrow, there's little curves here. So you can't really just square it up. You have to figure it out. And I'm going to have it on legs, but I just wanted it to fit the space, so I'm just making it out of cardboard, and I'll build my base from that. So the last time I came to this Home Depot, they weren't able to cut wood for me, and so I ultimately just didn't even get the wood, because if I can't get the larger sizes that I've already figured out pre-cut here, it's sort of a pointless venture for me. I know I have a saw, but still I have a plan of execution, and so hopefully that execution can happen today. We'll find out. I can't believe it. Things are actually coming together. I mean, check this out. There's wood in the back of my car. Oh my gosh, it's for my projects. I went straight to the cut center. I got the major cuts done. There's other cuts that I'm gonna need to do on my own, not on the 2x4s, but on the big parts. A lot of the stuff is really precise, so it was really, there's only so many cuts they allow you, and so I got the major dimensions cut down, especially just so I could get the plywood in the car, and I'm feeling great and amazing, and I can't wait to get into my next step. I know what you're thinking, my hands look really white. I'm not cutting the wood right now. I've already cut the actual plywood part of the bed. Well, I didn't cut it, actually Emily cut it. And if you actually saw the live that I've removed, then you saw some of the silliness that ensued there.
All right, Don, show him your karate moves.
Yeah!
Karate!
The saw of a oh, yeah. This is what happens when you're playing around with your friend while you're building.
With saws. Playing with saws, you know, like adults do.
As playful as we were at that part, we had got some serious work done that morning. The legs to my platform that I'm going to build in the back have been built. The cabinets have been built. I don't want to show you guys that because I think the cooler way to do that is to do it as a reveal. And so I don't want to show it to you too early. There's a couple other things that are like surprises, things I didn't think I was going to be able to pull off that I was able to pull off financially. I've actually been like kind of prepping for this in multiple ways for a while now. I just want the van to be comfortable, and I've done little things to make it feel like home, but there's things you really can't do when you're living in it constantly. Like if you have to empty it out to do work before the sun goes down, if you're just living in your vehicle and you don't have a house, you got to figure out how to get everything back in there in a way that you can sleep in the van that night. And so it gives you a really limited amount of time to work while the sun's up, and that includes getting stuff out the van and getting stuff back in the van. So large projects are really hard. Small projects, not that bad. Large projects, really hard when you can't just default empty the van and then like put the stuff back in. A storage unit just would have cost money, and I might have gone that route if I really wanted to get this project done and I got desperate, but I really didn't want to pay storage unit fees just to clean out the van and then do the build that I wanted to do. And there still would have been complications. Like right now, my wood is just sitting in her yard. That's also why I'm not going to do too much revealing about where I am. But the point is, like, stuff can just sit and not come in here until I want it to come in here. But it's actually going well. My friend Kiara took my curtains. When I did my curtains for the front of the van, I just kind of chopped down the middle and then hung them like left and right. And it was looking really like janky on the end, like the edges weren't looking great. And so I gave those to Kiara when she came to help me out. She also is the one to help me build the cabinets. The cabinets were prefabricated things that I measured to fit, and they will fit in the van where I want them to fit. And she just helped me put them together. They were basically little IKEA-like pieces. They weren't IKEA, but they were IKEA-like. So she helped me assemble those. So when Emily was here, a big thing was like helping me get a bunch of cuts done so that I didn't have to do all that stuff by myself. Okay, so all privileged jokes aside, Emily's dad was in construction, so she actually knows her way around power tools. That's not a euphemism, or maybe it is. But
if knows my way around power tools,
you know what they are.
I can use a handsaw just by fucking dumb luck.
How did I explain my saw to you? You're like, what kind of saw is it? And I'm like, the one in a circle.
Oh yeah. What kind of saw did you get? It goes in a circle. It's a circular saw. It's a circular handsaw.
So you know your way around.
I know my way around a circular handsaw.
You know the difference between saw types. What kind of saw you have, Dawn? It has a circle.
No, but see.
But the point is, she did make fun of me.
But you have the dreams.
For not having a sander. Because I said the cut looked uneven, and she was like,
I totally made fun of you. I just made fun of you in the constructive way.
I don't mind, like, that video that we put up, the live video that we put up was a little bit silly, but I think I really needed that. Like, I think I've done an amazing job adapting to living in a minivan without a lot of fancy things. I didn't have solar. I didn't have a refrigerator. I didn't have all these things that people think they need to move into a van. I literally moved in here with some plastic bins and a camping cot, which a lot of people do. I'm not the first person to do that, but the only thing we glorify on YouTube is people who either have like the glorious like van tour vans, or people, let me restate that. What we glorify on YouTube are the really super like fancy vans with all the things. And then what we vilify is people who are poor and struggling. And we assume the people who are less advantaged are certain types of people in comparison to other people who get the big fancy Sprinter vans and can afford to travel like right away. I think anybody can afford to travel. Like, the more I meet people who are traveling in vans, the more I realize all the ways people adapt when they really want this lifestyle. And when they want this lifestyle more than like only doing it under the perfect circumstances, like, they find a way to make it work. And these are like good people. And so, like, I want to be honest about, like, what that struggle is like. And it's freaking hard sometimes. I'm not going to pretend life is perfect. I love my home, mostly because I don't want to live with anybody else. This is mine. Like, no matter what I do to it, like, this is mine. Like, if I rent a room, yeah, I get to stand up, I get to walk around, get to have running water, I get to have electricity, but it's not mine. Like, this is mine. You can always sell your van for something. All the money you put in, even if like you have a van payment, which I do in my case, so I guess it's not 100% mine. Even if you have a van payment, like, once you pay that van off, you have something you can sell. Now, you may not sell it for what you got it for, especially if you put a lot of miles on it. And in my case, I'm sort of demolishing everything that made this a passenger minivan. But the day that I'm done with it, I can sell it for something. If it's not as a camper van, it could be for parts, it could be for something. This is always mine to sell when I'm ready to move on. And you just don't get that from renting. You're just giving money to somebody else to stay in their place. And besides the freedom of the driving, I like the independence of knowing I'm living in something that's mine, and I get to have independence and freedom under my own rules. And that's what this has been about more than anything. So after that grand tangent, I'm excited to show you more of what this looks like once I'm a little bit further along. I hope you enjoyed the little clips I scattered throughout this thing. It's been a little bit crazy. So yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to do this and how to bring you guys into it. And I really thought I would be daily vlogging, but it just hasn't worked out that way. And so this is going to be a really big project. So I'm going to take that expectation away from myself. I'm going to put this video out. And then the next video that comes out is going to be the tour of however this turned out, even if it's bad. Because the thing is, in 4 or 5 days, I have to be back to living in this van with all of my belongings in it. So, we'll see how that goes.